DCC 2015, and I'm here with Alexis Cruz, star of Stargate the movie, Stargate the TV show, and so much more. Alexis, welcome to Dublin.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
Alexis, what was it like working on such an incredible cult hit as Stargate the movie?
Well, we knew that we were going to make something really awesome, but we had no idea that the awesomeness would stick for so long and become this phenomenon. That's really a once-in-a-lifetime thing that you can't predict. You know? And we had a fantastic time. I think part of the success of it is all the fun that you see on the show and in the film. We were having that fun, and I think because of that we captured lightning in a bottle. Yeah, and I'm not sure. Where did you actually film when you were in the movie first? The movie
was it actually Egypt?
No, it wasn't. Hollywood magic.
I know, right? Where was it?
That would have been really awesome.
That would have been really cool.
No, it was Arizona, Yuma, Arizona.
Wow.
It was actually the same desert that the original Tatooine was shot on.
Really?
So we were part of history there.
Yeah.
So we did 2 months there.
It's like the go-to desert planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then, of course, you were brought into the TV show.
Right.
Was there a culture shock going from the movie? Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell. What was I saying? James Spader, and then kind of going to the TV show, which was a whole new kind of medium for the Stargate.
It was in different ways, and then it wasn't in different ways because. The literal culture shock was we were shooting the series in Canada, in Vancouver, and I was used to, in my mind, Stargate was the desert in Egypt.
Yeah, because
right?
the majority of your episodes were kind of spaceships.
Later on, right? But my first day on the pilot, so I get to Vancouver, and we get to set, because I had dressed and everything at the studios, but they take us to the set for our first day of shooting, and it's cloudy, it's drizzly raining, and it's a forest. And I was like, what is happening here? It was so bizarre.
It's terraformed.
Yeah.
And so did you enjoy the fact that you got to play a dual character? Like, I mean, you wouldn't have seen that coming in the film. But did you enjoy that, becoming the dual character of Skaara?
I did.
What was supposed to go?
Chlorel.
Thank you.
Chlorel. Yeah, I loved it a lot, actually, and I hadn't seen it coming. I had put a lot of thought into who Skaara was as this archetype hero sort of character, and I wanted to really capture that moment of a person's life where, you're turning the corner between your naive youth and then taking the responsibility for stuff, that moment, which I think he was really about.
And you were very much the age.
Exactly.
It was that kind of time for you.
Exactly right. And then they threw Chlorel at me, and it really just took everything in a tailspin. But it made his story that much more intense because that was the biggest challenge. And it was a very internalized challenge. In the movie, it was all about his society and raw, which is a big, profound thing, right? Like,
you're talking about God.
I'm going to go against my God and destroy. Yeah. Like, that's crazy. But now it's this internalized thing, which is another narrative archetype. And it made the character really grow and become that much more powerful in his own way.
Very much so.
So I was very happy with the direction it
went. It is fun to be a villain.
And it was fun.
Exactly.
Fun to be a villain. It was a lot of fun because, God, he was such a bastard.
He was. He was really bad.
Yeah.
And then, you had such, of all the characters, apart from maybe Daniel Jackson, you had the most growth. You went from, just this average kind of guy
in a very short period of time, absolutely. Yeah.
And then you became a villain, and an all-powerful villain with like legions of armies with him. And then you became a god.
Yeah.
Like you yourself became a god.
Yeah, he ascended.
Yeah. And I mean, how was that when you found out that you were going to, when Skaara was going to ascend and become an ancient? And that was that is the end of Skaara's journey. What was that like to feel that, to know that was coming?
I'm not sure. It was timely. By the time we got to the 6th season, and at the time, I think we all thought that was going to be the end of the show altogether. So that's part of why they wrote this whole epic ending and blew up our planet.
Tatooine's gone.
That was a part of it, right? Just say let's end it with a bang.
Yeah.
And then they got renewed, which fantastic.
Yes.
But our storyline was over, and I think it was nice to end it that way in this ascension thing.
It's kind of very few characters get that kind of growth.
Exactly. It was somewhat of a happy ending.
Yeah. I'd say more likely a very happy ending. You're going to become a god.
Right.
I mean, you didn't really get power. Well, you did get powers. I mean, but you didn't. You ended the show you started as a slave.
Yeah.
Ended as a god.
See.
I can't think of another character that kind of in fiction that can become something like that. It's hard, isn't it?
There's quite a lot actually in mythological terms. Yeah, I'm a big study of mythology.
Yeah.
In fact, the whole idea, the metaphysical idea of the Metatron is exactly that, the idea of a mortal attaining divinity. So there's a whole thing to it, and I think there might have been underpinnings of that in the writers' minds as well.
Yeah, because there was very much, as the seasons went on and the ancients became more prevalent.
Right.
I mean, there was definitely a plan for something almost, divine to happen to those characters.
Yeah.
And I mean, like Stargate has been, it's an icon of pop culture.
It sure is.
Yeah,
it really
and
is.
if you this might be putting you on the spot, but James Spader, Michael Shanks, because you're one of the few people that can say, okay, like this, like if you had to, like snap decision.
It's hard to say. I guess I'd go with Michael Shanks. Michael and I have developed such an incredible relationship over the years. You know.
Yeah.
I mean. In fairness,
brother.
I only really knew James for 4 months, and I've known Michael for 15 years.
Oh, you see him at the
almost
con
20 years
circuits a lot?
now. You
You
know?
see him at the con circuits a lot?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we all got really close.
And how's your family? How did they see you? Like, do they see you as the actor, or do they just see you as Alexis? Like, do they ever get to see this side of your life?
They do, actually, yeah. My family...
They kind of freaked out?
My family has always been very supportive. I started acting when I was 9 years old.
Yeah, you were 9, and then your first kind of big thing was 13?
Yeah.
It was your first kind of big that you decided you wanted to...
Right, and that's when I started going to school. I went to the Performing Arts High School in New York, the famous Fame School. And I graduated from there.
Did you jump around a lot?
We really did.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like all of that, like dancing in the cafeteria
so cool.
and singing, we did all of that. It was pretty awesome.
So, Alexis, thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you.
Have you been enjoying Dublin? How have the fans been?
I've been loving Dublin. I've been wanting to come to Ireland for years.
Yeah.
For years, and I just hadn't had a chance yet. So when this opportunity came up, I jumped at it. I'm Puerto Rican, and there's actually... I recently found out a couple of years ago, I'm a history student, the Puerto Rican people and the Irish people actually have a very intertwined history. Those Irish that had come to the New World back then, as laborers. And there's an old story about when they were there and they had ingratiated themselves with the islanders of Puerto Rico. And we had a Spanish governor that was very xenophobic, and he thought that you guys were spying for the Americans at the time.
No.
Right? Yeah, totally wasn't happening at all. And he tried to expel all of the Irish from Puerto Rico, and the Puerto Rican people rose up against that governor.
Oh, wow.
And ended up kicking him out, and he got recalled back to Spain in order to keep the Irish there. And
That's
to this
amazing.
day, every year, there's a really big St. Patrick's Day parade.
That's fantastic.
It's a whole big to-do, and it's great.
Well, thank you for teaching me some stuff, Alexis.
So there you
That's
go.
brilliant. So, Alexis, thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you.
All right. And that's it from Geek Ireland.